So here's how it goes. I was just minding my own business, doing some DIY this morning on the ladder, painting the bathroom wall. And I just heard the still small voice on the inside of me say, feminine is fierce. Feminine is fierce. Well, I've said this so much, before, so I knew exactly what this voice inside of me was alluding to. And because I've seen fierce, I've seen womanity, the fierceness of what I call womanity. I've seen women's the woman brand of fierce. I've seen it. I've seen it in the labor room. I was a midwife for a long time, and I remember, on a daily basis, being able to see that fierceness that is womanity. So, if you would tell a woman, after hours of labor and days of pre-labor and just exhaustion, and if you look that woman in the eye and tell her that she needed to do something, sit up, get herself together, push, make some kind of change, make some kind of decision, you would see that woman connect with what you're saying about the need for her to do something to save her baby, to help her baby, to help herself, to help her family. And you would see that fierceness light up in her eyes. Like she would just she'd dig deep inside and she'd position herself and she would just, this fierceness would come and it would be amazing to see. It never got old. I never got tired of seeing it. It was amazing. So I've seen this fierceness, this ferocity in women in the labor room. And another example of where I've seen it on the news. So I remember watching the news story of this woman who was being arrested at Heathrow Airport because she had gone to another country to get some cannabis kind of medication for her son who had severe epilepsy living in the UK. Now, it's illegal. That drug was illegal in the UK. But she knew it was the only way that her son could just to have some respite from this acute severe chronic epilepsy that he was constantly fitting, and that this was the only medicine that really helped him. So she was campaigning to have it be made legal in the UK, but she wasn't getting anywhere. So she would go abroad and smuggle this drug in. Well, the news story was about how she got caught at Heathrow Airport with this drug, and so they arrested her. They were arresting her, saying that she's illegal, she's doing something wrong. And as the news was reporting, they were watching her, and she was screaming at the top of her voice that she will not stop. She will not stop getting this drug to her son, that they're going to have to lock her up for life if they don't want her to stop, because her son needed this medicine. He had a right to health. He had a right to well-being. He had a right to peace and rest from this dreadful illness that he was suffering from. And she was his mother, and she was going to do everything that she could to make sure that her son got what he needed. And there it was again, that ferocity, that fierceness, that woman who was fighting for her child, fighting for her cub, fighting for her family, fighting for what she believed in. And it was this fierce demonstration of ferocity that I saw then. And so when this voice spoke to me this morning, I knew exactly what he was speaking about. I say he, I mean God, because that's what I call the still small voice on the inside of me, that God spoke to me and told me that the feminine is ferocious, that is fierce. So anyway, I thought of another example. What was the other example I thought of? Oh yeah, when I was studying the lioness, I had a dream one night. I saw I was in the jungle. I saw a family of lions. I saw the lion and the lioness and all their cubs, and I was particularly focused in the dream on the lioness. And I saw that I saw this multifaceted being, this multifaceted creature. I saw at one stage she was just sort of she was, walking through the jungle, and her cubs were following her, and they were all playful, and she was watching over them, and it was great. And then I saw that it was lunchtime, and she went out hunting, and she gathered her sister lionesses from the other communities, and together they worked together in unison to get the food to feed their families. And as she was really fierce, then I saw this ferocity as she worked with the other lionesses to really hunt down dinner. Hunt down dinner. And then I saw it was dinner time, and that she was time to feed, it was time for her to feed her family, her cubs. She fed the lion, and then she fed these cubs. And it was really strange because one of the cubs was a bit weaker than one of the other cubs. And so the other stronger cub woofed down his portion of the food, and then went to try and steal the weaker lion's portion, the weaker cub's portion. Like, he was eating much slower, and he was, making much more of a do about the meal. And this stronger cub thought he was going to take advantage of that and steal a portion of that other cub's meal. And the lioness was having none of it. She was really, really fierce in the way that she grabbed that cub and flung it across the field, away from the weaker cub. And as she positioned the weaker cub and allowed that weaker cub to carry on eating. And then in the dream, it was quite a long dream, I saw that same fierce lioness was playing, acting fierce as she played around with the cubs, pretending to fight with them, but was so elegantly gentle. So yeah, I remember seeing, when I woke up from that dream, I remember thinking about the lioness, about how beautiful she was, and how fierce she was, how fierce, elegant, beautiful, loving, gentle, kind she was. And so yeah, I thought about ferocity and womanity and our fierceness, and how we could learn a lot from the lioness and her multifaceted ways as women in leadership right now. That's a whole other video. But yeah, so today I heard this voice saying that feminine is fierce, and I knew just based on those examples what that meant. But as I carried on painting the wall, I heard that still small voice inside of me say, the etiquette of fierce. The etiquette of fierce. What's the etiquette of fierce? And immediately you just sort of like fell out of my spiritual womb, this understanding that fierce was an acronym. And I've written it down here, that F, if you think about etiquette, it means the way that things are done properly. How do women be fierce properly? That's what I'm seeing. And the F is fighting for a good reason. So I think this is really talking about, I think that this is all about us as women in leadership right now. The relevance of this message has come out of my understanding that we're fighting fights in the marketplace as women in leadership. We're in power struggle. We are, continually facing professional pushbacks. We're having scrapes. There's a lot of us having scrapes with the people that we work with the power structures that we work in. But we're fighting. And so I think that we're being invited to fight fierce, in a feminine way. Fight fierce in a feminine way. And so the F stands for fighting for a good reason. It's about taking a stand. It's about having a cause. It's about fighting, not getting involved in fights like a thug, like just for selfish reasons or for no reason at all, or just because, he said this, so I'm going to say that. Like this one-upmanship game that's so prevalent in leadership right now, and in the marketplace structures of things. Like these scraps and these scrapes, that's not what this fierce is meaning. I think it's about fighting with a cause, it's about fighting for a reason, for a noble reason, for purposeful reasons. It's about taking a stand. In all of the examples that I gave you, these women were fierce because they were protecting their families, fierce because they were taking a stand for what they believed in. They were about something. This was a purposeful fight. This wasn't just you know, a tit for tat or one-upmanship game playing, or, you know, scrapping around, you know, in a toxic culture. No, no, no. This was about purposeful, meaningful fight, aggression, violence. So for a good reason, that's the F. I stands for indomitable. Indomitable. You know, I love the definition. I did look the definition of indomitable. Indomitable. Yeah. Indomitable means impossible to subdue or defeat. And I love that, because what I think that means is that this fierceness that we're talking about, this fierceness is about, you know, being relentless, being resilient. It's about if you're falling down, if you fall down in the fight, to get back up again. It means that we are undefeated, that we might have to take the 8 count, we might get knocked down, we might have to take the 8 count, as my daughter loves to say, but we're relentless, that we are bounce backable, we're resilient, that this fierceness isn't easily squattable, isn't easily dismissible. This fierceness is what's the word? Relentless. It's relentless. So I was thinking about what would make this fierceness relentless, and I think it is about creating support systems that really bolster and strengthen our leadership, really bolster and strengthen our resolve to be about what we're about in leadership, really strengthen our resolve to bounce back and to keep going and be in it for the long haul. This is what I think indomitable means. This fierceness that we're being called into is about being supported to be in it for the long haul, and we're not dismissible, to not be dismissiable. And, you know, I know that so many of us, I was thinking the other day, like this week, I've had several conversations and I've been hearing women say that the 2 women have explained to me that their boss said to them, who do you think you are? Who do you think you are doing this? And when asking them that question, it was a put down. It was a kind of it was inferring that they were nobodies, or that they were dismissible, or they didn't have what it took to be doing this or saying that. And I asked my clients, well, what did you answer? What did you answer? Because that sort of effort to kind of dismiss you with that statement, who do you think you are? That's supposed to shut you up. That's supposed to silence you. That's supposed to make you bow down and withdraw and not go for it anymore. But I say you need to have an answer to that question and stand up with that answer and give that answer with your chest. Well, who do I think I am? Well, here's who I think I am. I'm this, I'm that, I'm this, I'm that, I'm here because, you know, like this is the kind of fierceness. This is an aspect of the fierceness that I think that we're being asked to demonstrate, that we need to be indomitable, undismissible, unwipe-outable, unsilenceable. Is that a word? I don't know. So that's the I, indomitable. And the E is elegant. I love elegant. Elegant is one of my high values. And I think it means beautiful and high quality. That's what I think it means. It means beautiful and of high quality. So this fierceness is beautiful. It's not ugly. It's not devious. It's not malicious. It's not conniving or sneaky or snidey, or it's not underhanded. It's beautiful and it's light. My definition of elegant is to be free from tension while simultaneously strong and forceful. To free from tension while simultaneously strong and forceful. I was thinking about this, and I remember that when I was a midwife, and when these women were in pain and they needed to get this baby out, they needed to push, I would often coach them to release the tension, to not tense up, which is a natural response to pain. When there's pain, we naturally want to tense up, but tension diminished the power of their push. So when they were tense, their pushing was less effective. So there would be this thing that I'd help my clients to do, to relax and push and be fierce. So relax and be fierce simultaneously. It doesn't make sense when you talk about it just outside of the situation, because it doesn't make sense to be forceful and fierce and light and relaxed. It feels like an oxymoron, but it really is possible. And I think that's what this is talking about when it says that this fierce is elegant, that this fierce is where are we? Elegant is free from tension while simultaneously strong and forceful. I really love that. And regal, that's the R. The next one is regal, and this is like centered in a sense of queendom, centered in a sense of high responsibility, benevolent responsibility. That, you know, that I am called, I'm chosen, I am positioned, I am the one that has whose responsibility it is to see to it that it is well, to see to it that this is right, to see to it that this is, you know, this is so important, because so oftentimes the things that we really want to change as women in leadership are just so entrenched in the system, so big, so lofty: inequality, injustice, all the isms, you know, in all the illnesses, indifference even. You know, these are really big things, and it can often feel like, well, little old me isn't, you know, like, what can I do? What can I do? Or, you know, I'm there's nothing I can do about this. But this kind of fierce owns the identity of one who's called to do something, the identity of one who has responsibility, high divine moral responsibility to do something about it. That you see yourself as the queen of this domain. You see yourself as one whose voice matters in this domain. You see yourself as an influencer and an initiator of change in this, in your realm. That you see yourself as high. You see yourself as queen. You see yourself as called and chosen to be a voice to this situation, to be a catalyst in this situation, to be the cause and the initiator of the change that you want to see. So yeah, this fierce is about being regal. And then the next C is compassion. My definition of compassion is come with passion. So it is really about, the real definition of compassion is to suffer with. So it is about thinking about the suffering that's happening as a result of this situation or this problem that you're fighting against. It's about being cognizant of where the pain is, who's suffering, who's crying, who's calling out, who's dying as a result of the problem that you're fighting against. And I don't think it's only about the people that are suffering from the problem itself, but I think it's the suffering, being mindful, being compassionate about the suffering of the people who you are calling to be different, or to do different, or to act different, or to change. Like being mindful of what that change process is like for the people that you are challenging, as well as the people who are suffering. So it's compassion all around. I think it's about coming with passion and coming with high enthusiasm to end suffering, high motivation and drive, and high determination to eliminate suffering and to cause no harm. Yeah, it's like the Hippocratic oath that says the doctor will do no harm. And I think that that's what we need as fierce leaders, is this desire to do no harm, to not cause pain as we seek to alleviate pain somewhere else. So yeah, that's compassion. And the last E is empathetic, which I think we've been talking about a bit anyway. It's about thinking about how the other people feel, thinking about the about how this will play out, what the fallout of this will be, thinking about what it's like in somebody else's shoes. Like this fierce is considerate. I think that's what this is saying. It's compassionate and it's empathetic. And I think both of those kind of play into the fact that this fierce is considerate. It's not just unruly aggression, that it is considerate. It is compassionate and it's empathetic. I love that. So yeah, I think the message that I received this morning is really I think the message that I've received this morning is really a call for us to fight feminine, fight in our womanly way, fight. Yeah, I think it was Einstein that said that the thinking that creates a problem is not the thinking that will solve that problem. And I think it's the same with fighting our causes, against these big problems that we see in our world today. Like the problems that the thinking and the ways that create the problem are not the thinking and the ways that are going to solve those problems, that we need to fight in new ways. To the way that created the problem. We need to find new ways to undermine. I love what Buckminster Fuller says, is like if a system's not working, or if something's not working, then don't fight that, create a new way, make that way obsolete, make a new way more favorable. And I think that that's what this is about. This is about us as women in senior leadership being called to fight a feminine fight, fight according to our womanly way, fight, fight for a good reason, fight with indomitability, if that's a word, fight elegantly, fight with regal awareness and identity, fight with compassion and empathy. What does this mean to you as you listen to this? How is this playing out for you? And I'd love to know how this is landing for you, and what it is that you hear as you listen to this truth that feminine is fierce. My name's Dion Johnson, the womanologist, and I'm looking forward to hearing your response. Like, I really wasn't going to share this video, but actually as I go through it, I just think, yeah, I'm going to share it. So please share your thoughts as you listen to this. See you later.